the veteran point guard. He's from Anderson. They got her in free agency. This is a perfect opportunity now for Hailey Van Lith as young point guard.
The 2025 WNBA draft was meant to be a celebration, the kind of night that cemented the league's momentum after its biggest year ever. Fans poured into the shed at Hudson Yards in New York City, buzzing with energy, cameras flashing, the spotlight set to fall on the next generation of stars. But what was supposed to be a coronation of talent and potential spiraled into something nobody expected. Because instead of soaking in her moment, Hailey Van Lith decided to take a swipe at Caitlin Clark, the player who had already transformed the WNBA before she even hit her second season. And what followed wasn't just draft night drama. It was a spectacle that stunned fans, shocked analysts, and left Van Lith stumbling into her career with a self-inflicted wound. The league had never been hotter. Clark's arrival with the Indiana Fever the year before had rewritten everything. TV ratings doubled, attendance exploded, and arenas sold out weeks in advance. She wasn't just a rookie. She was the face of women's basketball, a player so magnetic that her logo threes had fans comparing her to Steph Curry, while her court vision had them whispering about Magic Johnson. ESPN and Amazon inked lucrative new broadcast deals. Merch sales shattered records, and suddenly little girls everywhere were rocking Fever jerseys instead of NBA ones. The 2025 draft was meant to ride that wave, with names like Paige Bueckers, Angel Reese, and Hailey Van Lith ready to step into the spotlight. But it didn't unfold the way the league hoped. Hailey Van Lith came into the draft with her own story, one that resonated with fans who admired grit over glamour. She had bounced from Louisville to LSU to TCU, reinventing herself at each stop, carving out nearly 20 points per game while building a reputation as one of the fiercest competitors in college basketball. Her reunion with Angel Reese in Chicago, after the Skies selected her 11th overall, promised fireworks. She was supposed to be the underdog who finally got her shot. But instead of celebrating that moment, Van Lith let old scars guide her choices. She had unfinished business with Caitlin Clark, a rivalry dating back to the 2023 NCAA Elite Eight when Clark dropped 41 points on LSU, hit shot after shot that looked like they came from another planet, and waved her infamous "you can't see me" gesture as the game slipped out of reach. That memory burned, and Van Lith never forgot it. So when the cameras turned to her during a lighthearted pre-draft game, everything changed. She was asked a simple question, one that every rookie usually laughs off: start, bench, or cut between Diana Taurasi, Sabrina Ionescu, and Caitlin Clark. It was meant to be fun, harmless, an icebreaker to loosen the room. But Van Lith didn't treat it that way. With the spotlight on her, she smiled, leaned in, and declared she would start Taurasi, bench Ionescu, and cut Clark. For a heartbeat, the room froze. Then a wave of murmurs swept through the crowd. Social media erupted instantly. On draft night, of all nights, she had taken direct aim at the league's brightest star. But she didn't stop there. In her post-selection interview, Van Lith doubled down. Without naming Clark, she made it clear she believed not everyone in the league had earned their fame. Some, she implied, had it handed to them, while others had to grind every step of the way. The jab was unmistakable. Clark, the so-called media darling, was her target. It was bold, yes, but it was also reckless. Instead of building her narrative as a hungry underdog, Van Lith painted herself as bitter, and the backlash was swift. Fans pulled up stats side by side, and the contrast wasn't kind. Van Lith's college career was strong, averaging nearly 20 points at Louisville and 18 at TCU, but Clark's numbers belonged in a video game. She had broken the NCAA all-time scoring record, led Iowa to back-to-back national championship games, and filled box scores with triple-doubles while playing against double teams almost every night. Beyond numbers, she had changed the business of women's basketball, selling out arenas coast to coast and driving broadcast ratings into the stratosphere. Analysts didn't hold back either. One ESPN commentator called Van Lith's comments "envy dressed up as confidence," while another pointed out the irony. Without Clark, the draft itself wouldn't have drawn over 1.2 million viewers, the second most in league history. Even inside the WNBA, players took notice. Some unfollowed Van Lith on social media, a quiet message that she had crossed an invisible line. You don't come for the queen unless you're ready to dethrone her. And that's when Clark herself delivered the final twist. She said nothing. No tweet, no interview, no sly clapback. Instead, as Van Lith's words bounced around the internet, Clark was caught on camera offering nothing but a cold, knowing smile. The same look she'd given in college whenever someone tried to rattle her right before she buried another logo 3. Days later, she was at a youth basketball camp, coaching kids, signing jerseys, taking photos until every fan had their moment. The contrast couldn't have been sharper. Van Lith chasing headlines, Clark building a legacy. And then came the reminder of why Clark doesn't need words. In a preseason showcase, she torched defenders for 28 points, added 8 assists, and grabbed 5 boards like it was just another day at the office. She hit shots from 30 feet, ran the offense with surgical precision, and left the crowd in awe. The cameras caught Van Lith on the opposite sideline still in warm-ups, watching, waiting, overshadowed before she even stepped on the floor. Social media, ruthless as always, turned it into memes. Clark cooking defenders while Van Lith sat stewing. Clark's rookie year only made the gap wider. She shattered records, most points by a rookie guard, most assists by a rookie, and the first rookie in WNBA history with multiple triple-doubles. She became the first to win Rookie of the Month and Player of the Month in the same span. Every arena she entered sold out. Merchandise with her name accounted for nearly half the league's total sales. Ticket sales jumped over 300% after her draft, and broadcast partners quadrupled primetime exposure, all tied to her star power. She wasn't just playing basketball. She was reshaping the economy of the league. Van Lith, meanwhile, hadn't logged a single pro minute. And whispers started to spread. Reports suggested multiple teams had passed on her not because of talent, but because of attitude. Scouts questioned whether she was worth the drama when compared to Clark's transcendent impact. The Chicago Sky took the gamble, hoping her chemistry with Angel Reese would spark something special, but it was clear the pressure was already heavy. Reese had learned how to coexist with Clark in the spotlight, but Van Lith still seemed desperate to fight it. All of this built toward one game, the WNBA season opener. Sky versus Fever. Hailey Van Lith against Caitlin Clark. The most anticipated debut of the year. For Van Lith, it was a chance to prove her words weren't empty. But the weight was enormous. Every turnover, every missed shot, every possession would be compared to Clark. Fans were already predicting Clark would hang another 40-piece on the board, with memes forecasting Van Lith as humbling in real time. It was no longer just basketball. It was a referendum on draft night itself.